Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now I want to start off by apologizing for not having a whole lot of content lately. Unfortunately, February was a pretty busy month for me with XDA and a lot of stuff personally and at work, so I wasn't able to put out pretty much any videos during the month. But March is going to be a different story. We have a lot of content coming up for you guys. I have this video, the Nokia 9, as well as future content on the Nokia 9. I have my Samsung Galaxy S10e coming, and I also have the Xperia 10 pair coming, the 10 and the 10 Plus, and I'm hoping to get the Xperia 1 sent to me as well for review. So I've got a lot of content coming for you from the month of March pretty much through April, because I hope to also get some LG devices so we can take a look at their newest ones. I also wanted to thank you guys so much. We've hit 1,000 subscribers, which opens the doors for a lot of possibilities for me, and we're closing in on those 40,000 watch hours that I need to go ahead and get monetized on my channel. So again, thank you so much, and keep it up and share this with all your friends. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to share it on social media, be subscribed if you're not yet subscribed, and all of those other things all the other channels tell you to do. So today I'm really happy to get started with the Nokia 9 Pureview hands-on. This is a device I've really been interested in ever since it was initially sneak peeked. Those 5 cameras on the back with the sensors, it's just a really cool looking phone, and I'm really hoping that it lives up to my expectations. So before we wait too long, let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing and initial hands-on of the Nokia 9 Pureview. So in all honesty, I've actually gone ahead and opened this particular device up. I was actually playing with it a little bit as well, you know, beforehand to kind of get some feel for it. But I put it back in the packaging except for the plastic, so we can go ahead and go through the unboxing experience. I haven't gone through any of the accessories or anything yet. So lifting off the top, this reminds me a lot of HTC's old packaging. Instead of placing the phone and everything below it like Samsung does, it's beside each other. So it's kind of cool. So here's the Nokia 9. We're going to go ahead and place this off on the side. We're actually going to go ahead and let that power up while we're going through. And like I said, I did wipe it, and you can see the Android One branding there. So if we go ahead and pull this out here, we've got our SIM removal tool. In the US, it's a single SIM model only and not the dual SIM that's available elsewhere. Inside of here, looks like this is just paperwork and, you know, just kind of things like that. You got a little boot up tone there like a carrier will place on the device. We'll throw that off to the side here, and over here is where I expect our power cords and everything like that. Now this device does have fast charging on it. It has a 18-watt quick charge 3 with USB PD support, and it also has wireless charging, 10 watts on a Qi charger and 5 watts on a PMA charger, sorry. So you've got a lot of different options there for charging support. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out here, and again, I haven't opened up this particular packaging. This is exactly as it comes from Nokia HMD. So here's our charger here, USB-A, so it's a USB-A to C adapter. If I look closely on the back here, it looks like this is 18 watts. Actually, no, this is a 15. Yeah, it looks like this is approximately 15 watts, 5 volts at 3 amps. So this is a 15-watt charger that comes with it, but like I mentioned before, it is capable of an 18-watt charger as well. It's going to go ahead and place that off to the side there. Toss this out. It does come with a micro USB, I'm sorry, a USB-C to 3.5-inch headphone jack adapter, because this phone does not have a headphone jack, unfortunately. So we'll toss that off on the side. What other goodies come in this package here? There's a bunch of stuff in here. So we have that mentioned USB-A to USB-C cable. And get this thing to slide off here. So USB-A to USB-C there. It actually does come with a pair of headphones in the box, and these are 3.5-inch headphones instead of the USB-C that we see with some devices. But you know, I do kind of prefer the 3.5 because then you could use it with more of your other devices as well. So that's everything that comes in the packaging here. Gonna go ahead and put this off screen. We're gonna go ahead and bring the Nokia 9 into view here. I'll get it centered for you. So this is the initial launch screen. We're just gonna go ahead and go through that. And so while that's going through there, here's the back of the phone. And like I said, I did have this open, so it does have some smudges, but it is a very smudgy phone. It is running Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and the back of this with aluminum rails as well. They're colored aluminum rails, and there is a nice chamfer that runs all around the device here. Now you do have, you know, I mean, the star of the show is this back array. You know, you've got 7 different portals back here, for lack of a better term. You know, we've got our time of flight sensor here, which is a time of flight. It isn't a focus sensor like I had initially thought it was. Over here, we've got our flash. And then in this array, I don't know which camera is which, but there are 3 black and white and 2 color sensors back here. Now, they're all the same exact sensors. They're all 12 megapixels. At f1.8, they've got a 1.25 micron pixel size, so it is a decent size. There is no pixel binning or anything going on. It is the 12 megapixels that you get there on the back. You also got a noise-canceling microphone. You can see that right there. Going around the side of the device, we've got our volume rocker and our power switch. Nothing else there on that side. We switch to the other side, and there's absolutely nothing, just a clean side. LG does a similar design, except for its assistant button there now. If we go down here, we've got a single firing speaker down on the bottom, as well as the USB-C port and the main microphone for your voice. There's no holes in the glass in here, except for the speaker up at the top. If we go up to the top of the device, we've got our SIM tray. Again, in the US model, it's a single nano SIM. In the international model, you actually do have a dual SIM. And the SIM tray, I pulled it out earlier. It's kind of weird. I'll show you that. You can see that it's actually blocked on the US models. And then we have a microphone kind of hidden in there, if you can see that, right in that antenna band. It's kind of an odd placement for it. On the front of the device, we have a 5.99-inch P-OLED display. This is running at QHD, so 2880 by 1440 at 18 by 9. So this is a very traditional display. We're not seeing any notches or cutouts. We're not seeing any hole punches. We're not really seeing anything out of the ordinary. This is also a very flat panel. If I go ahead and hold it like that for you, you can actually see that there is no 2.5D glass on the edges. It's just a flat canvas all the way till you hit the frame. Now, you do have the Nokia branding up front here, and personally, that does not bother me much. The same thing with like Sony's old branding. It never bothered me when they had it on the front of the device. This is actually a 20 megapixel front camera right here, and then if you can't really see it, you might be able to see it at a certain angle, there is the proximity sensor and so on right there. And then you've got your front earpiece. This does not double as a speaker, unfortunately. I wish it's something they would have done, but they didn't. There are also no capacitive buttons down here on the bottom. You've got on-screen controls, just like the Google Pixel does. All right, so as I'm setting up the device, I'm kind of skipping through it. We come to the fingerprint sensor. Now, there has been some confusion as per what kind of fingerprint sensor is actually on this phone. I can confirm this is an optical sensor, much like the one you find on the OnePlus 6T. It's not the ultrasonic sensor that was tweeted out in a deleted tweet by Qualcomm. Michelle Rahman from xdadevelopers.com, the editor-in-chief there, tweeted them asking for more details because we were pretty sure this was an optical sensor, and they ended up deleting that tweet. I don't think we heard anything back from them. So you'll see when I'm setting it up, it is just like the OnePlus 6T, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, at this price, you know, I don't think I'm expecting the same sensor that's available on the Galaxy S10. It is the only one with that ultrasonic sensor. So we'll go here, and again, if you turn it off to the side, you can kind of see the light, the exact same kind of light that you get on the OnePlus 6T. So it is that same kind of sensor. And in my use, again, I've had it set up already. You know, it's not very accurate, just like the OnePlus 6T is. So once we get into the main core of the phone, we'll go ahead and continue. All right, so here we are on the home screen of the Nokia 9. So as you can see, it's a very plain Android Pie experience, which is what you expect when you're looking at Android One. There are very few add-ons by the manufacturer, really just the things to support some of their extra features, such as assistant buttons or special camera features like we've got in this situation. So it's not running the Google camera. I will be checking out to see if it can run a Gcam mod, but as of right now, it is Nokia software. So if we go down in here into the settings, again, just like the Google Pixel, we'll go into display. And these are some of the changes that you see by the OEMs. You've got pure display here, and this is pretty much your display adjustment for color and all of that kind of fun stuff. Dynamic is its primary. It is a very saturated color space. I'm not a huge fan of this, but you know, that's its dynamic mode to make it look poppy. And again, it is an OLED display, so you do get those popping colors and blacks. Vivid pushes that even further. It's like actually eye-piercing, especially on the Chrome symbol there. We're going to go back into the settings and back into Pureview. My favorite personally is the cinema mode. That's probably very similar to what Samsung offers with its OLED cinema, and that seems to be what it is, where you've got a much warmer color white balance on the display, so it is much closer to that 6500 target, but you do have some saturation. If we switch to basic, you can see the color saturation in this image here goes down, and it keeps the same white balance target. So I personally like the cinema setting here for it. Now you also have this thing called glance view, and this is basically their always on display. Now from the factory, it's set up so it displays only for 10 seconds, auto wake up, so when you lift awake, the phone will wake up. The same thing with auto wake up when you get notifications and stuff like that, and then when it's charging, it can be enabled as well. There's a lot of different settings you can put here. If you do prefer an always on display, you can go ahead and just put on always on. In here, under the glance style, you've got what they call legacy and stylish. It basically just shows you more kinds of notifications on your display, and there's a little bit richer notifications if we look down towards the bottom that you can have displayed on the particular device. I like it a lot. I'm going to switch it to digital clock. Go ahead and lock the phone, and there's the always on display. It's very Google Pixel until you get a notification. Then you've got two bars down here that kind of show you what you've got, and the battery percentage down here. If you had the fingerprint enabled, which I didn't, I skipped through it in this setup, you do have a fingerprint icon right there as well. And again, you've got double tap to wake there. Let's see if the lift to wake works as well. We're going to sit it down for a second. So it looks like right there it didn't work, but I do believe it should work fine. So we're going to go ahead and go through the settings here just a little bit more. Again, tap to wake is also here, and it's also in that glance setting as well. But again, this is very plain. You know, it has what Google puts on software, so it will get fast updates. This particular one is running the January patch, so it's not yet running February, not to mention March. So it is sad to see it a little bit running behind. Android One seems to do that. That's one of the more disappointing aspects of Android One. This particular device, again, it does have 128 gigabytes of base storage and 6 gigabytes of RAM, so it is definitely up to par. Now, it is running the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, and this has been something a lot of people have complained about. This is not something that bothers me too much. You know, the Qualcomm 845 is a fantastic chip, and again, you're getting this at a slight discount compared to other flagships. This is definitely Nokia's flagship device. I don't think there's any ambiguity about that. The fact that it's running last year's chip probably saved them a little bit of money, allowed them to get it out a little bit earlier, and I don't think there's any problem with that. This will still just be as performant as you need it to be. Some other things about this particular phone, it does have IP67 water and dust resistance, so it's not up to the, you know, the IP68 that you see on Samsung phones, but again, it's IP67, which is fantastic, much like the iPhone XR, which this is very much in the price range of. We also do have HDR10 on this display. Again, like I mentioned, it's got a 538 pixel per inch density. You know, the Quad HD at 18:9. It does have just under an 80% screen to body ratio, so it's not up there with like even the Galaxy S9 from last year, not to mention the Galaxy S10 from this year. So again, you know, you're getting what you pay for the most part. You're getting a little bit less in features, but again, you're taking that gamble on this camera right back here. I think this phone's major competitor is going to be devices like the OnePlus 6T, which this is a little bit more expensive than, but you're getting those features. And I certainly hope they do keep the $599 price point, because that makes it a really compelling offer versus the 6T. So we're going to go ahead and compare it against a couple other devices here that I've got on hand. So the first one will be the LG V40. And the LG V40 does have a much larger display. We're just going to go ahead and swipe away some of those notifications. The LG V40 does have a much larger display than the Nokia does. Both of them are running, you know, this is claimed 5 cameras, but that's including the 2 on the front. This actually has 5 cameras on the back. So this is the true penta camera here on Nokia. But on the V40, you know, we've got the telephoto lens, and we have the wide-angle lens and the extra wide-angle lens. So it is doing more than what you're actually getting with the Nokia. But they're both close to the same size. You know, if you were to hand these to me in a blind test, I would think that the Nokia was an LG. It feels a lot like them. It has that same light feel, that boxy feel. The V40 is just a little bit rounder on the edges there. But again, they're very, very similar phones. There's not a whole lot different between them as far as hardware goes. So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side. The next one I've got here is the Honor View 20. This one is a little bit bigger than the Nokia is. It's a little bit taller. It's a little bit thicker, but again, you are packing a 4,000 milliamp hour battery into this particular phone, whereas on the Nokia, you've only got about a 3,300 milliamp hour battery. So it is definitely on the lesser end of things. But again, that's exactly what the V40 has, and that's got a much larger screen than this particular phone has. So that's it versus the View 20. I'm going to be doing camera comparisons as well. Some of them will come up here on my personal channel. Some of them will go to XDA. And now that we've hit 1,000 subscribers, I can make posts. So I'll be sure to link those videos when I put them up on XDA developers for anybody interested in following the Nokia here. So go ahead and put that one off to the side. And here again, I'm sorry for hitting my camera. Again, here is what I believe is the primary competitor of the Nokia for users. And this is the OnePlus 6T. You wouldn't necessarily think these two are competitors, but they definitely are. The OnePlus 6T is available at a slightly different price, a lower price to start. It has more RAM when you start speccing it up to what the Nokia has. And it does have that teardrop notch and gives you a much larger screen and pretty much the same kind of a body. They're very, very similar. The 6T is just a hair taller than the Nokia, both about as thick, and they both feel very, very similar in hand as well. So, there isn't a whole lot of difference. And they both run, Android Pie, and they both have a fairly stock experience. Where you're going to be seeing the difference, though, is OnePlus, they have software optimizations and software features that you just don't get on stock, Android with the Pixel experience. So that's definitely something that you are lacking here. You also have unlockable bootloaders, whereas on the Nokia, you're not able to unlock the bootloader, which is definitely unfortunate considering where Nokia started when they started putting out these Android phones. It is definitely a letdown for the developer community. But when you start getting beyond that, like I mentioned, they're both very similarly priced. Specs, they're very similar as well. And Nokia is looking to take the edge when it comes to the camera. The camera is very good on the OnePlus 6. I'm hoping that it's going to be a lot better on the Nokia because that's pretty much what this device is built around. This is a phone built around those cameras. So, some of the test shots I've seen are promising. But some of the shots I've taken myself are a little bit less promising. So we'll just have to see and what software updates can do as well. There is camera firmware on this phone. Nokia actually worked with light because the Snapdragon 845 can only handle 3 rear cameras, whereas this one has 5, all sequentially firing off. So they had to have a special processor in there with the camera company Light. You're probably familiar that they had a camera that had like 12 lenses on it, 12 sensors on it. So they are definitely familiar with putting a lot of sensors on that. So this phone does have to run that in order to give you that experience with the 5 sensors, and I'm hoping that it does pay off. Compared to the OnePlus 6T, though, you've got wireless charging. You have universal fast charging, whereas the OnePlus only does that with its chargers. You've also got IP rating, IP67, and this one has no official rating, although people do expect it to be around IP67, IP68. You also have a Quad HD display here, and you've got a 1080p display here. You've also got HDR10 on this display, and this one doesn't. So they are very similar, but yet very different as well. And I think people who are looking between these two devices will have a difficult time. And, I hope that my videos are going to be able to go ahead and help you discern which device is right for you. So we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side here. So again, this has been the unboxing and initial hands-on of the Nokia 9. We're just going to show you the camera really quick. Just a moment here. All right, I haven't opened it yet. I have to unlock the phone first. There we go. So go ahead and open up the camera here, give it location permissions. So again, here's the camera software that it's running, and we're going to go ahead and just drag the charger block here. And again, you've got a lot of settings here. We're going to dive into these in a later video for sure. And you do have the swipe adjustments here to go into different camera modes, Pro, Bokeh, and Photo. And you can also rearrange these as well, which is really cool. If we do a quick test shot here, let's drop the phone. We do a quick test shot here. One thing that I notice is that it does take a long time to process the photos. You can see the little processing emblem down below. It takes a while to go ahead and do that because it does have so many sensors firing at the same time. It just a lot of data to compute there. So again, we'll be going into a deeper camera comparison, camera dive on this particular device. I'm really hoping I bought this because of the camera, so I'm hoping that it does pay off. So if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and leave it a like, and get subscribed. If you're coming over here from the XDA channel, thank you so much. Be subscribed, turn on notifications so you get notified of every one of my videos. And again, thank you so much to everybody for helping me hit that 1,000 subscriber area, because you know, now I'm much closer to being able to monetize my channel, and that continues to give me encouragement to put out more videos for you guys. So again, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.